So we're gonna go over upper body and specifically shoulder mobility techniques today. And this is a really vast and generalized topic to go over, but I wanna simplify it down into a couple of really easy techniques, easy ways to improve your shoulder mobility really quickly. So what are we thinking about when shoulder mobility? We think about a lot of movement and circumduction patterns. We're thinking about getting our arms above our head, all those great things. What we don't often think about is our ability to retract, how far back we can pull our arms against our midline like this. Most people have a relatively restricted range of motion. Most people have really weak scapular retractors, and a lot of people are very bound up through their pecs and through their anterior delts here. It's just a function of sitting at a computer like this. Most people just get very bound up, and it's lower cross syndrome, just all bad things. How do we get out of that? Well, you can do a lot of band pull aparts, you can do a lot of face pulls, all great things. Those are great, strengthening movements. Those aren't really the best mobility movements. Those aren't really increasing mobility as a function. But what we can do here is we can increase our ability to get that scapular retraction by focusing on loosening our pecs. So what we're gonna do is actually a little bit counterintuitive because we're going to train our pecs. So we're going to do push-ups. We can do any isolated pec movement, and then we're going to stretch our pecs through a loaded stretch. So first, we're gonna go through our isolated pec movements. So this case, push-ups. So I'll do a set of push-ups here. So 1, 2, 100. That's failure. So I now have a lot of blood going through my pecs, just tons and tons of metabolic stress, which is exactly what we want, because now what we're gonna do is we're gonna take all of that metabolic stress, we're gonna take all of that pump, and we're gonna stretch it out. So we're gonna take a loaded stretch with dumbbells in a flat bench position, and we are going to allow these dumbbells to passively open our pecs in this position. So we can start from a normal press position, and we're gonna slowly bring the dumbbells down just outside of our chest. Once we get to the bottom of the stretch, we're just gonna relax and allow the dumbbells to just work with gravity here. So now this is just stretching my pecs. I'm keeping my chest up, taking deep breaths, and allowing my pec fibers to just stretch slowly apart. So big thing here, you wanna make sure that you're not just relaxing 100% because we don't want the dumbbells to just rip our shoulders out of socket. So you still want there to be some kind of tension there, especially through your upper back and through your mid back. But make sure to take deep breaths and just allow the dumbbells to stretch your pecs. So after about 60 to 90 seconds, and that is a long time, if you can manage it, you will have the biggest pump of your life in your pecs. It will be absolutely massive, uncomfortable. This is an excruciatingly painful technique here as well. So I didn't mention it before, I'm using 40s here, but I would recommend nobody use anything more than like their 20 rep max for this. Absolutely no more than that. And that's even something that you should maybe taper up to over a long period of time. These should be relatively light dumbbells because again, you're stretching. You're just allowing that load to stretch your pecs. But the really cool thing here is that after you go through isolated movement, after you go through the loaded stretch, once that pump comes down, you're gonna have noticeably more range of motion and mobility through scapular retraction. How does it actually benefit us? Well, if we're wanting to train our back, for example, if we want to train our mid-low traps, our rhomboids, if we're wanting to do anything that has to do with taking our shoulder blades through a full range of motion through retraction, this is very beneficial because it allows us to get more range of motion through there, more retraction, more of that shoulders pulled back movement, which is going to train our muscles back there much more effectively. So seems counterintuitive. It is counterintuitive. Why would we train our pecs to actually open up our shoulder blades and be able to train our mid-back better? This is exactly why. So relaxing the muscles on the front end to train the muscles on the back end a little bit better.